So you've recently initiated no contact with a fearful avoidant partner, and you're curious about how they're feeling and how they're handling this disconnect emotionally. Does a fearful avoidant feel anything during no contact? Are they truly as detached as they seem? Are they missing you? Or have they just completely moved on like this overnight and are really not sweating anything at all? Well, no contact might be helping you heal, but I'm sure you're probably wondering what is going on in their mind and in their internal world. Well, if you don't understand the emotional roller coaster of the fearful avoidant as they go through no contact, you may actually misinterpret their actions or lack of communication, which can just lead to further frustration and confusion on your end. So by the end of this video, my goal for you is that you will understand exactly what a fearful avoidant experiences during no contact, all the way from the initial stages and some of the emotional conflicts and turmoil that they may be going through, all the way to the later part of no contact. And if you are new to this channel, my name is Gibson, and I am a coach, counselor, and author who has been working with individuals in the field of attachment styles and relationships for more than a decade, as well as publishing different books about the topic itself. And what attachment theory really is it is the study of how your relationships to your caregivers and family as a child affects all of your adult relationships later on in your life. And I will put a little tiny infographic here if you're not familiar with the topic of the 4 different attachment styles or love styles so that you can check it out for yourself. I'll also link other videos down below if you want to learn more. And let's dive into this topic today and talk about the fearful avoidant attachment style and what they truly experience during no contact. So, first and foremost, no contact is essentially this idea that after something breaks down or breaks off in a relationship, there's literally no contact. And when we say literally no contact, what that actually means is no calls, no texts, no emails, no responding to anything if they do reach out to you, like actually no contact, nothing on social media where you're liking their posts or engaging indirectly or messaging there. Like it has to be literally zero contact on any platform. And the reason no contact is powerful, honestly, is because that when somebody stops the contact and has that separation from their ex, both parties have the ability to work through things if they decide to take that path, which is obviously the path I would recommend, like really working through your pain points, your challenges, doing some healing around the breakup itself, but also when that person isn't right there, we get the opportunity to sort of reflect on what we lost. And we get to see, was it not meant to work out? Was it meant to work out? Were there things that each of us did wrong that we wish we could correct? And, there's this old saying, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. The reality is the mind is very adaptive. So, we tend to, when we actually have space from something, be able to realize what we actually had. Now, for some people, they go through such a painful or challenging relationship that relationship was not meant to work out. And sometimes no contact can also be a protective measure for somebody in a relationship to gray rock, to keep space and distance from this person that they never want to get back together with. But the vast majority of the time that no contact is discussed, it's actually being discussed in the context of you are just not having any contact with your ex because things weren't working. You couldn't really break through the power struggle that you were in the relationship, or you couldn't really find some way to get on the same page and make a commitment to one another. And so we take actual space. So this is something that I personally, before I go into the 3 parts of fearful avoidant, and how they actually feel during no contact, this is something I very much recommend for people because there's 3 major benefits to doing no contact after a breakup. The first benefit is that if you're the person going no contact, it forces you to have to work on you and your healing and your growth. And it kind of creates this distance or space that sometimes we use an ex and we sort of turn that ex into a friendship kind of dynamic, or we continue loose ties, or maybe continue seeing them. For some people, continue hooking up with them after the breakup. And, that stops you from moving on. It essentially enables you to not feel your pain. It's almost like its own form of numbing or suppressing the pain associated with the disconnection, with the breakup, without actually acknowledging that, it's time to truly move on in a different direction. So the first benefit is that it actually gives you time to work on you and focus and prioritize yourself, which is a very healing thing to do after a breakup and actually allows the healing process to speed up. The second major thing is that it actually allows both parties to truly reflect on the relationship, like I was saying earlier. And this will be a place that if we are making the wrong decision, if the relationship is actually, strong enough to maybe work out in the end, both parties will realize that during that time. So it's very beneficial from that perspective as well. And number three, it allows each individual to really see, like, was I taking this for granted? Was I pushing somebody away from a space of self-sabotage, from a space of being afraid of being close? And so, it forces people to really reflect on that sort of dynamic. So when somebody goes no contact with a fearful avoidant attachment style, there are generally three stages that the fearful avoidant actually experiences. The first stage is the quote unquote relief phase. I would almost put this as like the deactivated stage, because the fearful avoidant hasn't necessarily, when they're in this relief stage, they haven't necessarily taken full inventory of how they're actually feeling post breakup. Instead, they're kind of in their deactivated space. And so they're going, I love my needs for freedom and autonomy and independence, and I'm free. And they're not processing. It's not like they get to relief because they've worked through their other side of, actually missing the person and processing those feelings. It's more that they're just deactivating, and having the space from any problems that were not getting worked through in the relationship can, yes, initially be relieving, but it's sort of like one slice of the pie. It's not the entire picture, if that makes sense, or the entire pie. So they'll go through this initial relief stage. And generally, that initial relief stage lasts for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, sometimes all the way up to about 6 weeks. And this is give or take. If somebody's got a strong anxious side, or they lean more avoidant as an FA, so they'll go through this stage. And then they'll start to feel their feelings. And this is where they really get to stage number two. And when they start to feel their feelings, they'll go into this attempt to numb those feelings at the same time. I will say, for a moment here, actually, if you want to do a deep dive into like how to not numb and how to make sure that you're dealing with a breakup, even if it's just a situationship breakup, in a healthy way, please feel free to check out the How to Heal from a Breakup course. We have a trial going on at PDS for a limited time. And I'll put the link in the description box below. That course is designed to take like at least 30, 40, 50% of the sting out of the breakup immediately. Like, it's designed to really help you work through those things quite quickly by getting to root cause and having action steps and strategies. The other 50% takes time because we have to go get our needs met from people and allow our cup to be filled. And you'll see in the course, but essentially, there's ways to really challenge our narratives post breakup and work through those stories we're telling ourselves, like I was never good enough, which is a big part of why a breakup hurts. There's ways to understand what you're missing about your ex and find new creative strategies to bring those things into your life in a variety of different forms. And there's ways to really enact self-love and clarity and certainty to sort of develop your own closure. And those can give more immediate relief. So I'll leave the link down below. And that actually gives you access to all of PDS as well. So they go into this numbing stage, which ideally the fearful avoidant wants to stay out of, although it may be tough for them not to go there a little bit if they're still fearful avoidant and just sort of beginning the healing journey. But the fearful avoidant, they'll try to deal with this stage by numbing. They'll really go to their creature comforts. They may feel a sense of loneliness, disconnection, emptiness, and they'll usually use, alcohol or distractions or drugs, or sometimes rebound relationships or things like that, binge eating food, working out too much, like, these kind of like subconscious strategies to numb their feelings, because fearful avoidants aren't taught how to process their feelings growing up. So they'll go through this stage of like trying to push everything down and numb themselves out. And eventually they'll come out of that stage. And then they'll enter into stage number three. And I call this the longing stage for the fearful avoidant, because it's not that they necessarily fully want to be back or know how to recontinue a relationship where it left off, but they definitely think about it. And, in some cases, if the relationship has potential to work out, that phase can be a good time to reach out to an ex, but then make sure that you're not just reaching out to try to get back together on autopilot. Make sure that instead you're actually having the proper discussions. You're actually saying, hey, what didn't work out the first time? What can we do differently? What boundaries do we need? What needs do we have? How do we need to communicate differently this time around? Like, there has to be an actual vetting of if there's a potential for it to work out in a healthy way. But it's usually within that stage that fearful avoidants may miss their ex. But they usually, because of that unwillingness to be vulnerable, aren't going to be so quick to reach out to that person at the same time. I have exciting news to share with you today, and it is that to celebrate the Personal Development School's 5-year anniversary, we are offering 40% off of your first month to our all access pass. Plus, you can enjoy 20% off of my newest book called Learning Love, both of which are all about how to change your attachment style to become securely attached. So, whether you are looking to improve your relationships, personally grow, or just develop a lot of emotional mastery over the way that you feel, now is the perfect time to start. But hurry because this offer won't last long. So, head over to the link below to join today. So those are the three major stages. Hopefully that's helpful for you. If you have questions down below, let me know. If you want more how to heal from a breakup, if you're avoidant content, please hit the like button. Let me know. I go through and look at the like ratios on YouTube and see like what videos people want to see the most of. So it's like our new voting system, I decided. So anyways, feel free, let me know content, questions you have down below or videos you want to see like this. And thank you so much for stopping by. If you're enjoying this channel, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I can't wait to see you in the next videos.